Hello, welcome back to the podcast. It's Culture Babe. My name is Rose. I'm your host, and today I am here with a very special woman. She is from a country that sounds like a dream for any introvert. Because, as she mentioned today, in this country, people don't like to call and they don't like to sit next to other people on a bus, and they just generally don't like to deal with people. If you're guessing,
It's Norway.
If you're guessing, hi Marta.
Hello.
Yes,
From the cold north.
from the very cold north.
Yeah.
I am very grateful that you have agreed to do this with me because I think you have a lot of interesting information to share with people in the world.
I'm grateful to be here. I think this is fun. This is my first podcast episode in my life. Let's see if it's going to be the
last one.
We will see. I think I have some fun perspectives to share.
Yeah.
Might be. Yeah, I think so.
I bet you do. And you are actually the first Norwegian I am talking to. Like, I have never met anyone from Norway before. And I actually wonder why. Do you guys travel?
Yeah, we traveled to Spain and we traveled to Spain because do you know that there is like stores with Norwegian food and Norwegian stuff in Spain?
No, actually, I don't know that. So, is it like the most popular country where Norwegian people travel to?
I think so. I don't have the statistics, but for many, many, many years we've been traveling to Spain, and it's a normal thing, pretty normal thing, that when you get retired, there are many people that have a house in Spain and they move to Spain. So there's a lot of connections from Norway to Spain. And you know that it's like Norwegians will complain that immigrants in Norway don't integrate, they don't learn the language, they live next to each other. And then you go to Spain and there's a bunch of Norwegians living in like Norwegian community with Norwegian food and they don't speak Spanish.
Oh.
You see?
Okay. So you're starting pretty spicy already. I can see that.
Yeah. That's a stereotype. Not everyone is like that.
But tell me more about actually Norwegian culture and what are like people in Norway like. If you should describe Norwegian people to someone in 3 words, what would you say?
Oh my god. Oh no, I hate this use 3 words things because then my brain shuts down.
Okay, then use as many as you want.
Thank you. I'm not going to follow your rules at all. No, but I think it's very dependent, like probably any people, like what generation and if you live in the city versus like the countryside. But like overall Norwegian culture is, I think that the Scandinavians, we are living in a cold climate. And many people would say that we are cold humans too. I think many people feel like Norwegians are like we hold in back. We are not like warm people.
Yeah.
But I think that we are, but we just don't know how to show it, or we use longer time to show or to feel comfortable to show it maybe. But we hold back, and I think this is like a perfect example. Like I told you, we don't sit next to other people on the bus.
Yeah.
Like,
I love that, by the way.
you will see that like there's 2 and 2 seats, right? And there's going to be one person, like there's always just one head on the 2 seats. And if you have a backpack or something, it's going to be next to you. Like, no, you can't
And
sit
it's
here.
socially acceptable.
Yeah, it's totally social. Look, if there is free seats, like free, like a double free seat, and somebody comes sits next to you, then you're gonna be like, why are you sitting next to me when there's a free double seat right over there? Like, don't you want to be alone, or why are you next to me?
Don't you want to be alone?
But actually, I think this is a fact. There is a Norwegian guy who had a TV show, and it was called Why Are We Like We Are, or something like this, about Norwegian culture. And then he took all these things that are perceived as negative things, like to be it doesn't sound very pleasant what I'm describing now, but he was like looking at the society and the history and everything and telling us why we are like that. And he said a very Norwegian thing is we don't want to bother other people.
Okay.
So I think you can perceive it as rude, but I think the baseline of it is like, okay, you sitting there, I'm not gonna come bother you with my presence.
I perceive it as gold, to be honest. That's my, it's like social courtesy. It's like, oh, there's already one person sitting and there's only one seat. So, of course, I will not bother him with my own presence.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking this is like introverted dream. This is probably extroverted hell.
Yeah.
And I have just discovered my new goal.
Come to Norway.
Come to Norway. It's also interesting that Norwegian people being this way, then choose the complete opposite for their retirement. And I don't understand. Is it because of the weather? Because it's very
Yeah.
hot in Spain and people are touchy and loud and, it's just different.
Yeah, that's a good point. I haven't thought about that, but it's 100% the weather. But they are usually like they go to Spain in the winter and then they stay in Norway in the summer. So winter in Spain is not that hot.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
Yeah. But about people, if they don't like loud people, they just stay with their own,
Yeah.
No, they make Norwegian schools and stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
In Spain?
It's weird. It's very weird. But it just shows like it's easy to tell other people like, yeah, you have to do this. This is how you integrate. And then they go and then they don't do the same. It's easy to point at others to tell them how they should behave.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't like to bother other people, I guess.
So that's like one of the things, one of the traits.
Yeah.
Are people in Norway fed up with the weather?
Yeah. We talk about the weather all the time. I'm not sure if this is normal other places. I don't think so. But we talk about the weather all the time because there is a lot of weather. It's cold, it's rainy, it's this, it's that. And when the sun comes, we turn out to be different people. Norwegians in the summer versus winter is not the same people.
So do you guys become warmer and more welcoming in summer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely. When my husband came to Norway, because he's Moroccan, he came in winter and he was like, oh my God, everyone is depressed and like this is not very welcoming. And then the summer came and he was like, what is this? Everyone is out, everyone is happy. People are like looking at each other and smiling. He's like, what is this? It's two countries.
Who are these people?
Yeah. But it makes sense.
Like 180 degrees then, the difference was.
But it makes sense too, because to live in the freezing cold, it does something to you. You don't feel like you want to go out when it's dark and cold. You don't feel like doing all that stuff that you can do when it's night and sunny and everything is like easier.
Yeah, 100%. That's true.
Yeah.
It's interesting how much our mood depends on the weather.
Very interesting and very unpractical. Like, who decided this for us? Like, there is weather and we're like, no, I can't live like this because of the weather. It's like, bro.
Now I have to be grumpy person for half a year because the sun is out.
Yeah.
And I've heard that, for example, in places like Australia, where it's pretty much warm most of the time and sunny most of the time, they don't really have winter. Let's say in Sydney.
Yeah.
They have the opposite problem, that people get depressed because it's always the same. So, yeah, I don't know what our problem is. Yeah.
We get depressed anyways. That's the thing.
I think we just like to get depressed,
Yeah, I think we have to accept it. I saw documentary one time about mental health, and they said a very good point. They were like, let's stop talking about how to get rid of depression and how to be declared as healthy. Like,
Yeah.
let's just learn how to live with it and expect it, and like, how do you live with things up and
Yeah.
down? That's a very fair and good point, because it's gonna come either if you live in Norway or Australia, right?
Yeah. No matter. If you live, you will have to deal with it.
Yeah, right. That's some very motivational words from the Norwegians right there.
That's your motivational words from Norway. Yeah. If you live,
Yeah.
you will be depressed. Thank
Oh my
you.
god. You're welcome.
Tell me, what is it like growing up in Norway? What do you remember?
So I grew up like in the countryside. There was like 400 people living in my village. So I remember like a lot of nature. We used to be outside all the time, skiing and learning how to make a bonfire, and like a lot of outside activities, and safe, like very safe. And the system in Norway, it's a good safe system with schools and all that stuff. So it like everything just feels safe.
Yeah.
My childhood, just like, yeah, a lot of skiing, a lot of mountain climbing, like activities. And I come from a family, or like, we are not going to sit inside and watch TV. We are going to be healthy, and we're going to be outside and fresh air. This is a Norwegian thing too.
That's why you love sports so much. You're just used to it since childhood.
I got it with my, like, how would you say this in English? Like, you get fed with it? No.
It came from your upbringing.
Yeah,
Is that right?
definitely. Yeah, that's right. It's like, I think it's not, well, it depends on the families, but I think it's a Norwegian thing too. Like, if the sun is out, you can't sit inside and watch a movie. That's sad. If it's a good weather, you should be outside and get some fresh air. Like, it's a sign of good health to be outside, which I agree on, because we're supposed to be outside.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had a good childhood. It was easy somehow. It was just free, I think. And then you go to school, and then you follow the systems, and then you start thinking by yourself, and then you feel like, oh, wait a little minute.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
What do you mean by that? You go to school and then you follow the system and then you start thinking for yourself. Is it like everyone does, or you did?
I think everyone, not everyone, but mostly people follow the system. There is like, this thing has two sides to it, which is a very positive side, and then you also have the negatives of that positive side, right? The side effects, or what you're gonna call it.
Of the system, you mean?
Yeah. And that is like, to have a system, it needs to, like, if a good system is gonna work well, it kind of needs to be a bit square, I think.
Yeah.
Because if there is no lines, there is kind of no system. Like, in a world, or like a country, run in a country, like, there has to be some square systems, right? But that also means that if you don't fit into the square system, then you have a problem, kind of. So I think, like, this is something that I've been reflecting around, like, just lately, like the last couple of years. And then you start seeing things in a different perspective, right? And then you're like, whoa, okay, wait a minute. Because I think that we have good systems with the school, with the health, with this, with that. But it's and I think any Norwegian will recognize it when I say, you do what you're supposed to do. You go to school, you get a good education, you get a good, secure job with a secure income, you get a family, you get this kind of family car, you get a dog, and you have a nice house. Like, the fairy tale kind of stuff. And if you don't do that, then people look at you like, but why you do this? This is not how you should do life. Like, you're supposed to do it in this order.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I think that Norway and Norwegians, I think we are more stuck in our system than we know that we are, including myself. But if you're in something, you have to like step out of it to see it
Yeah.
clearly. I think it's easy to just just go with the flow. Just yeah, you do this, and then you know that step 2, 3, 4 is already lined up, and this is how you do.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that that fits for everyone. And it's like sometimes you have to take a break and be like, okay, is this am I just following the system that I'm supposed to do that is like incorporated in my own system because I grew up here? Or is this actually what I want to do? Like, is this my choice? Or am I just thinking it's my choice? You know what I mean?
Yes, I 100% know what you mean. I think we are an example of where this type of thinking can lead to, because
Yeah.
of the way we currently live, and we were get to that. And I feel like so I grew up in Czech Republic, and I feel like currently in Czech Republic more and more people are thinking this way. They are questioning, like, okay, I did all of this, but is this really for me? What if like my path is different? Do you feel like it's also started in Norway?
I do. I think so. I think it's a oh, that's a hard word, generational thing because of internet and Instagram and TikTok, and
Yeah.
you can see more different things. Like before, you just see what your parents do, or you see what your neighbor do, or like some people in the TV. Like, but now you can see, oh wait, there is like 1,000 ways of living, and they are doing something else, and they are doing all right. Okay, let me see what's going on, which I
Yeah.
think is a good thing, and it's gonna should lead to some changes in how people live and how they choose to live, maybe.
Yeah, I believe so too. And would you say that Norway has a very traditional system? Like it dwells on tradition and on how things have been done up till now?
Kind of. I think we think or we try to believe that we are more developed or more like experimental than we are. But then, like the school systems, like many things are the way that they have been, and there is enough numbers and like proof to see that, well, this is not really working. But we still do it the same way. There is still many people that's gonna question you if you do something different. That's a thing too. That's a Norwegian negative thing. Probably a world thing, but there is something we have. I don't know what this is called in English, but we say something that's called janteloven. It's like a law, but it's like what is it? Like a social law that says like you shouldn't think that you're better than everyone else. You know
It,
this?
it's like a socially expected
Yeah,
behavior, you would
yeah.
say.
So
Like,
it's like if you stick your head out and do something different, instead of being like, okay, interesting, you go do your thing, it can be more like, hi, hello, no, no, no. Do you think you're better than us that you can stick your head out in there? No, you have to come back here and do what we expect you to do. You know what I mean? And that's like,
yes, yes. You cannot stand out too much.
no, because then you're gonna just be judged, which says more about them than the one who sticks out, you know?
Is it possible that someone who decides to live differently would be ostracized by community in Norway?
Yes, definitely. I think so. I think it depends what you like, which way you take that is different, and how accepted that different way is. But you can definitely be like pushed out or be like somebody is gonna judge you like behind you
Yes.
instead of rooting for you, or can be a bit two-faced, because we are not direct. We're not gonna tell you to your face, but we're gonna tell you tell
You
you
know,
behind
people
your
will
back.
hear that, right?
People gonna hear this?
Get into the more exotic part of your current life.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, your husband is Moroccan and he came to Norway.
Yeah, well, I think anyone in one country with the mindset of, hey, let's see what's going on in the rest of the world. Is there something else going on? You can adapt that to any country, any person. So he came to explore life, explore world, and see what's up in the north. And
You are up in the north,
I
so
was up. I was up in the north. Hello, mister. Yeah, let's get married.
I
That's
love this.
not the first. That's not the first thing I said, though. We had a
No?
couple of conversations before that.
Then you moved to Morocco.
Then we moved to Morocco. I think that it's easier to come from Norway to Morocco than to go from Morocco to Norway. I think there are some journeys that can be easier than the other way around. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah.
Because of what people you meet,
Yeah.
like how easy it is to get in touch with people. Again, the weather. Like there are things that I think that it's easier, even if like there's many, like you have the same thing that you have to learn this and learn that and learn new things and language. Like that's the same wherever you go and where you come from. But I think there is a big difference. And actually, my husband said this before I moved to Morocco, and that was a very good point. And then I was like, because Norwegians in general, like the Norwegians I know, are open-minded and nice people. And we lived in Oslo, the capital, where there is all kind of people.
Yeah.
But there is some racism, but in here it's different, because then my husband said, but when you come to Morocco, they gonna put you higher because you're
Yeah.
European and you're white and this bullshit, which is a very fair point about what country you come from and where you go to.
I actually love that you share in this because it really speaks a lot about the truth behind the passport privilege, the color of your skin that
Yeah.
that we in Europe don't realize most of the time when we travel. We just take it, we are used to it.
Yeah.
But if your skin is darker, you will experience different treatment. That's most of the time if you travel to Europe or West.
You will.
Unfortunately.
It's very sad. And I think, like you have, for example, Norway, it's a rich country, it has a good system and these kind of things, but you have to work. Some people think you go to Norway or European countries and you just get money or like it's easy, but it's not easy at all. Like you have to really grind and you have to work hard to get that money, and especially as an immigrant.
Yeah.
So I think like that's the thing. Many people expect something completely different, and then they come to Europe, and then it's like, oh, reality can hit you hard.
That's why when people, every country that has inflow of immigrants or any immigrants at all, right, has a group of people who will scream that these immigrants are taking their jobs. That's completely irrational because exactly they don't know how difficult it is to move somewhere without connections or very little connections, right? Maybe not knowing the language, having to deal with bureaucracy and having to deal with racism and judgment. So it's hard. It just shows character
Yeah.
also of people who can like persevere and still be like nice, and kind and just do their best. Like that.
Definitely.
When you came to Morocco, when did you come to Morocco? It was actually not long ago, I think you mentioned.
Yeah, 1st August. So it's like 4 months.
So you're still in the honeymoon phase.
I'm still, yeah, I am. It's starting to, like, the honeymoon phase of immigration is starting to cool down.
Let me ask you another question. Before you guys moved to Morocco, kind of full time, did you visit it?
Yeah, I did.
But do you remember your like thoughts or feelings the very first time you came to Morocco?
Actually, I don't remember so much because that's like, I think it was like 2017. I think I just realized lately that I don't have good memory. Like I don't remember. Like when people ask these kind of questions, what is your first? I'm like, I don't remember. So I am not sure actually. I think I was young and I was not who I am today at all. Like reflective or like in a mental state. So honestly I'm not sure. I think I liked it. Like it was a good experience.
It's different when you come somewhere on vacation, then you know you're coming back, than if you know you're moved in and you're like, well, this
Yeah.
is my new home.
Yeah, definitely.
I was just asking because when I came to Istanbul for the first time, like I literally fell in love. That was my love at almost first sight. After I got like comfortable with so many people, because I have never been surrounded by so much noise and so many people before.
Yeah.
So once I got over that, I was like, I love it. I must live here. You know, like it was so clear and intense.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm asking if maybe like you saw Marrakesh, you were like, wow, I love
Mm.
it.
No, definitely not like that.
What was your assimilation in Morocco like so far?
So far, it's been good actually. It's been surprisingly good. Like sometimes I get these questions like what is difference between Norway and Morocco? Like what is the biggest difference and what are the hardest things? And when people ask what are the differences, I'm like, oh, but everything. Every single thing is different. When I start to think about it, and then I'm kind of shocked myself. Then I'm like, what? I'm living this and I'm okay. Like how, how, because it's so different. But I think that it went very well so far. Obviously, I have my husband who were raised here. He knows the right and wrong turns and like well, I'm not gonna call it system, but the schmistem. System
Schmist.
schmistem. They have a schmistem.
They have a schmistem. They have their own unique way of doing things.
Yeah, yeah. And it works somehow sometimes. But
on, on, on a good day.
on a good day, it works very well. Yeah, but I think, or I know that 100% it's easy. It's been easy because I have my husband who knows things. It's kind of a cheat code to integrate somehow because he can like help me or tell me or like. But at the
Yeah.
same time, that keeps me from researching and doing some things that maybe I would have learned. I would have learned language faster, or I would have had to like fail and test some things if I did it myself. So it's like good and some like not bad, but like it
Yeah.
has its various sides. It's been good. First of all, I had to assimilate with this weather.
Yes, tell me about that. I saw it was like 40 degrees in summer.
Oh my god, it was 50 one of these couple of the days in August.
That
That it
should
was
be
like
illegal.
I know.
That's
It
just not
was
right.
heat records and I'm like, yo, I cannot do this. I'm Norwegian. How is this gonna work? August was so hot and I came and I didn't know how to dress because if you wear too much it's too hot, but if you wear
Yeah.
too little you're gonna burn your skin.
Yeah.
So I had to like find out how to dress, and then we were driving we are using a scooter, scooter moped, which is good. It's the best thing to do in Marrakesh, so you can like swish around. Usually in like normal weather, it gets colder right when you are in speed, like you get some wind or some air. But when that air is more than your body temperature, then that air gets hotter when you move.
So you're
Yeah.
burning on a
So
moped.
it's like I was like, wow, in my brain was like, what? I never experienced this before. So driving the moped was like torture. I said that I feel like a what is it called? This kebab chicken that's on that wheel that's turning.
Roastery chicken.
Yeah. I felt
Kebab.
that's what I felt like. I was like, I'm a shawarma chicken or something because this heat is
On
gonna
moped. I
Crisp
think I'm
me
gonna
up.
make a visual of this, like you on a moped as a shawarma chicken.
Yeah, I was gonna make one, but I didn't. I didn't bother. So I think you can do it.
Is it usual weather or was it just extreme of this year?
Usual, but like with an extra hot sauce on it.
That's contradicting, but okay.
I don't know. It's usual that it's freaking hot, but I think it was some heat records also. So it's like it's normal that it's freaking hot, but it's not normal that it's that hot. If that makes
Yeah,
sense.
but like 50s is probably extreme now, even for
Yeah,
Marrakesh.
yeah,
I wonder how like local people deal with this. Do they have some tricks?
yeah. They just don't go out.
They only go out in at night.
Yeah, yeah. Like when the sun is down, it's still like 30, 35 degrees, which is crazy too. But when the sun is down, everybody's out. So like everywhere in the streets, in the coffee, this they have a lot of like green spaces between the like on the highway. There is one side and then the other side. Oh my god!
Like, what do you mean? Green thing, like grass,
Yeah,
park,
like
forest.
I mean grass and stuff, like a park, but just between two roads. You know what I mean?
So that's where they like to chill and picnic, yeah, on, like by the
Yeah,
road. Okay.
yeah, and all night because day is too hot, so they out all night. But yeah, when tourists or we are outside, they look at us and they're like, "Are you stupid? You can't be out in this weather." So they just keep inside mostly, unless they have to be outside for some work or something.
I have probably never experienced more than like 42 degrees.
Yeah,
That
and
was
that's enough.
already, yeah, I think that's like, okay, guys, that's
Uh,
enough. Was there something you used to believe about Morocco or North Africa in general that got busted once you moved there or, once you started living with your husband?
yeah, everything probably. Like before I met my husband, I don't remember exactly, but I remember like, yeah, he's from Morocco. And my head was like, yeah, okay, I don't know anything about Morocco. Just that it's like, I think it's in Africa and you Muslim, Arab, yeah, you maybe like this or that. Like I've always been pretty open-minded and stuff, but I recognize, especially now in these days with the war and the judgment and one-side information
Yeah.
and all this stuff, I recognize that I used to think many things that was printed in my head from media and from one-sided stuff. I used to think all the stereotypical things about Muslims and Arabs and
Yeah.
probably Morocco, even if I didn't really know. Just like the unconscious part that you got through the news and stuff. And then with time, obviously, it changes. All my prejudgmental things are swoofed off the ground. That's not a word. I say a lot of weird words, like I make
I kind of
swishy,
imagine it as
swishy
a
things.
visual, like it's being swept away,
Yeah,
removed.
swept
Okay.
away. That's the word.
But schwooft was a very cool word. Let's incorporate it. I think schwooft is the new sweep.
Yeah, it's more like swept. It's like straight, but swooshed. It's like it's bigger and it's more flowy. So yes, I learned a lot of new things with my husband, and to go to Morocco and travel here and meet his family and meet people here, that also changed a lot of stuff. Like when I was just traveling here for visits, and the more open-minded and more like a developed mindset I got through the years, the more new things I learned, and
The more new things you learned, and then there was no going back, I guess.
yeah, right.
You became a different person, and your mind was more open than it was before.
Yeah, and then it's just like a non-ending thing. Like if you think you know everything, you don't know anything
Nothing.
at all, because then you're stupid if you think you know everything. But the more you understand that you don't really know, the more you actually know. Yeah, something like this.
It was quite a puzzle. I think we saw it through.
I think it's not the correct delivery, but the message behind it, well,
It's to keep our listeners engaged.
they're gonna fall off and be like, what? Did you know or did you not know? Like, did you? I don't know. I think that, and that's something that made it possible for me to even move here, and it made it even possible for me to say to you that, yeah, my adaptation and assimilation went fine is because I have an open mind and is because I accept that some things are going to be totally different from what I would first think, and like to just pause and be like, okay, how do you do this? How do you live your lives? And then I'm going to see it, and then I'm going to try it, and then I'm going to make my mind.
That is actually very open-minded and very accepting and tolerant.
Yeah, and I cannot say that I always do it 100% like this, but that's what I strive to do. And I think if we all did that a bit more, we would be in a better world.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to point on someone who does something and you can be like, hey, that's not how you live your life, or you can't do this and you shouldn't. Like the word should, I start paying attention to that because people usually use that. Yeah, you should do this, you should do that, and then you should. No, I shouldn't do anything. I'm going to do what I feel like or want to, but after I observed or after I have enough information to actually make a choice. You know what I mean? Like, I have an example. Let me give you a cultural example here.
Okay, bring it.
So I was with my husband. We were driving here in Morocco, and it was like in the very first days after I moved here. And we stop and we buy a coffee, like very small coffee. Like people have their car, and in the back of their car they just make a small coffee shop, which is very cute.
It's very cute. Unless it's August.
Unless well, it was August,
Oh,
and they drink hot coffee. You see?
wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we stop and we buy a hot coffee in the middle of nowhere from this guy, and I pay this guy. I pay him. And when he's gonna give the change back, he give it to my husband, like over me.
It's like in Turkey.
Yeah, right. He gives it over me. He don't look at me. He don't speak to me. He gives the money to my husband, and then okay, hade bye bye. I was like, okay, am I air or what? Am I invisible? That's rude. And then my husband turns and he's like, no, that's actually not rude. This is respect. Then he tells me, look, this is old Moroccan culture. You are my wife. He is not going to approach you in a disrespectful way. It's a sign of respect for my husband. And it's also a sign of respect for me, which can be hard to understand when you come from a European culture.
Yes.
But when it's here, it's like kind of opposite. It comes from a different place. It's not my place to say if he disrespected me or not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I can feel what I feel, but there is two sides of this truth, and we both have our perspective on it, and none of it is more correct than the other one.
This is a really interesting and great example, and I have experienced something similar here in Turkey, which is also a Muslim country. And it's interesting how we growing up in Europe will take it automatically very personally, right? Because want it or not, we are very individualistic.
Yeah.
In Europe, it's all about us, and if someone does something different, we are very likely to take it our own way. But when you really think about it, it makes sense, and it's great that your husband explained it, because without it, I think you would have never come to this idea. You could never imagine that
Exactly.
it can be this way.
Yeah.
Right? The more you experience and the more you talk to different cultures and people, the more you realize how little you know.
Exactly. In one more thing that I was thinking about, because I was doing some journaling and stuff, and I was going deep in myself, and then I was like, this about culture, I think maybe I was listening to your podcast, or there was something about culture, the word culture. Oh my God. And like, culture is very easy to talk about from your level. Like
Yeah.
it's easy to say, yeah, in our country or in this workplace, we care about culture and we take care of culture and it's good. We work with good culture, and then it's like, okay, but what does that mean? What does it mean to learn a culture? I think that's like a to me that was like a big question, because I can come to Morocco and then I can look at it and I can judge it, which I think is very normal for people. We look and we judge, right? And then we use our own perspective to judge it, which is normal. But if you go to the next level, is okay, you watch it, and instead of judging it with your perspective, you try to like judge it with as neutral ground as you can.
Yeah.
Just like this, that I needed my husband to tell me, and then I had to put all my perspectives from Europe aside, because if I let them be there, I'm still gonna be like, yeah, but that's annoying, but that's not right. I think to really understand and respect and learn a culture, you really have to accept that some things you're not going to agree with, but you have to
Yes.
like go with it. And some things you have to like try to erase anything else from your brain and understand it correctly before you judge it and say what's right and wrong.
It really requires certain level of self reflection.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And that's that's the problem. Since you guys are from very different cultures, but you've been together for a while, so obviously you're doing something right because it's working. Just for people who are listening to this podcast, are you able to give few tips how to manage intercultural relationships? What helps?
Yeah, what helps? I think because we did not have, like, we had our hard bumps because of different cultures, probably, and what we like. I think as a intercultural couple, you have to have some conversations you would never need to have if you were with somebody from the same culture,
Yeah.
because of all these, yeah, this is how it is things we have in our unconscious mind, like, yeah, this is normal, this is not normal. But the
Yeah.
other one might have the total opposite. And if you don't address it and you don't speak it and don't understand it or like accept, respect it, it's gonna be a problem, because it's gonna be like who's right, who's wrong kind of thing. I think that's a
Power game.
normal problem for any relationship, who's right and who's wrong. But when it becomes like your base cultural truths about what is right and wrong in life, it can go to a new level if you can't like find the understanding or the respect of the other ones, even if you don't agree with it necessarily. I think that's a big thing, like, because of course it has to, like, it can't be something major that like, yeah, I'm just gonna accept it, but it goes against all my values in life, then maybe it's not right, the right couple. But like, I think you should be a bit more open to accept some bigger differences. So I think like two major things is acceptance and respect. Respect your spouse's culture and learn it, like learn it in the deep way, because that's going to give a lot of answers on how they behave, and then maybe you're going to see it from a different side. And the second thing is, this goes to everyone, intercultural or not, but like, start with yourself. You can find as many relationship advice as you want, but like, you should probably point at yourself first.
Before you point at the other person.
Yes.
That is great and painful advice. Thank you.
That's the hard advice, but it's the hard advices that work. But actually, like, there are many things in intercultural relationships that same cultural relationships don't have. I don't know what to call it, normal. But like a relationship is a relationship. There's going to be issues, there's going to be things anyways, and I'm not sure actually if different cultural backgrounds has that much. I don't think it has to be that different that many people think. Like you would think, oh my God, you're from Norway and Morocco, everything is different. There is a lot of things to work on or talk about, but at the same time, I think it's just a relationship. Like they're mostly normal stuff. I'm very bad at explaining my points. Like I use so many words to get to the point, but yeah.
Like people who are self-aware and self-reflect generally are more conscious about if what they say made sense, and they are more aware of the words that they use. And I hear that often from people when they say something great. You know, I hear it like, "Wow, this is amazing story," and then they end up with like, "Did it make any sense?" Like, yeah, it made great sense. Thank you. You also have an account on social media. That's how I got to know you, because I reached out to you once and then I found out you're actually a very approachable, nice
Yeah.
person. And then I just decided that I will never leave. And now we are
Here we
here.
are.
But why am I mentioning this, the social media account? Because what you do is you share your life as a Norwegian
Yeah.
in Morocco. How is the experience so far?
It's definitely new because I have a normal personal Instagram account with like 200 followers that I used to have. And then I was like, yeah, let me just open a new account when I move to Morocco, and like might be interesting for people to see how it is, and especially like friends and family, they want to see what's going on. And then if there's some more people, well then yeah, let's do it. But also I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I can do this. I'm gonna share myself with the world. But before I did it, I was like, yeah, well, it's just my family, friends, and then let's see. So I opened the account and I start posting some reels and just like finding out. And it's been fun mostly, but it was easier in the beginning because then I was new too. Then everything I saw was like, oh, I have to share this. This is new. This is exciting. But now I got used to things. So now I'm like sharing less because I forget that what I do every day is not normal for Norwegians. So I need to step up my game. But it's been fun, and what is good is like you said, I'm here in your podcast. Suddenly I have internet friends. I have people reaching out and being like, oh my God, I love Marrakesh, I also want to move there, do you have some tips? I'm like, oh sure. Or other people like, yeah, I fell in love with Marrakesh, I want to go back. I want to move here, I want to move there. I also I'm married to a Moroccan, or I have an intercultural relationship. Do you have any advice, like you said earlier?
Oh, people
Yeah,
reach
they
out to you
do.
like that? That's so
It's super
sweet.
sweet. And then, like when you are, I'm just me and I'm just posting some things, and then people reach out, and I kind of know because I know how it is. Like when you see people on Instagram, you make an assumption of who they are, and everything looks better, and people paint their own pictures from what they see. But then they reach out to me, do you have tips about this, how to move, how to be in a relationship? And I'm like, whoa, am I the right person to give you advice? I'm just a normal random human being, you know what I mean?
That makes you perfect person, to be honest.
Yeah, like that's what people need though. This is something that I was thinking about, because you can be very self-aware, when you post and people start following and stuff. You can be very self-aware, but what I had to tell myself is like, some people are not gonna like me, or they gonna expect something or say something. But I know that people that like say bad comments or something, they just have issues with themselves. So like, okay, that's not my problem, kind of. But I had to like remind myself that the people I want to reach out to and the people I want around me or in my DMs or whatever, that's people that's going to recognize me for what I am. I don't need other kind of people. So like when you see me and you start following and you message me and you think that I'm approachable and nice, which I humbly will say that I am, that's just reflects exactly what I want. I don't want guys in my DMs. I don't want some kind of fancy shit. I want same kind of souls to see, because like you have to have some kind of level to recognize other people on that level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So like people I talk with and that I keep connections with through Instagram and in general in life is like, I think that it's people like good energy recognizes good energy and the right values and stuff, and anyone else, okay, go be with your other energy people.
Great. It made me think immediately about what my level says about me, but yeah. Okay, before we finish, tell us what's the most popular reel you have made so far. What was it about?
Oh, I have 1 million views.
Wow.
That, huh?
Congrats.
Thank you. It doesn't make any difference in my life, but but it was like, out of all my reels, it's the reel that took least time, least planning, least everything. I was just home one day and I was baking bread and I was doing many things. And I was filming like some reels. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna film like 4 or 5 reels. Then I have some stuff to post when I need to. And then I just
Yeah.
remembered I probably seen it somewhere, like if you're new in a country, this is how you look after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, like as you adapt. So I just make a video that's like 10 seconds short, that like first month cooking in Morocco, and then I like make fun of myself with the gas oven, because we don't use gas oven and like flames in Norway. So I was like doing that, and then the next clip, 2 months, I'm having like the Moroccan traditional homeware, and the last one I had some headscarf, like cooking scarf, and a tagine, which is like the terracotta pottery thing you cook with.
Yeah.
And people lost their minds. They loved it. They were like, oh my God, this is so fun. It's short, it's relatable. And they like, I think Moroccans, and I think most people probably, but especially like southern countries is my view. Or maybe just everyone except Europe. They love when immigrants embrace their culture, embrace their clothes, embrace their stuff.
Yes, they do. Right. I
Yeah.
also noticed that.
In Norway, if you're an immigrant and you put like traditional clothes, then people start like, hey, this is not your clothes, this is our clothes, which is fucked up. And here it's like they love it when I say words or like learn language, or if I use the traditional clothes and I speak about like food or like whatever that is traditional, and I try to embrace it and learn and like really do it authentically. People love it, which is nice, and which makes it easier to feel welcome too. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's my top reel. And then I have 2 or 3 others where people lost their minds, but that's because they thought I made the wrong bread or eat the wrong way, and then they argue in my comments.
Yes, I was there. I was there. I think I tried to
Yeah,
defend
you
you, and
did.
then I left.
You tried. I appreciate it. But these people, you just have to say, enjoy your arguing. I don't want to be here. Bye.
I have
Yeah.
other things to do. Thank you so much again for sharing your amazing story and your interesting thoughts. I definitely think that I would love to talk to you again in the future after some time to catch up
Yeah.
what's new.
I would love that too. Thank you for talking to me. I could have talked for 10 hours. So just ask your listeners if they want a 10-hour episode.
I will do that. I will make a poll. I'll be like, do you want to hear? You know what? We can just do live.
Yeah.
We can just do 10-hour live. We will put some, what is it called? People can actually just send money whenever we say something funny.
Let's do it.
Funding. Christmas coming. Okay, so we're finished.
Oh my God, thank you.